Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series live from Daytona as we kick off our B season here on the Elite Racing Network. Should have a great race tonight. Should be a great season to kick us off. The truck race last night with Gerald was great. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, go check it out. Great race, great finish. Got tonight here in the Xfinity car. We got the Cup race on Wednesday. Been a great start for the Elite season so far. Robert joining me in the booth here this season. No more Nick. Nick could not find the time to make it happen on the schedule. So you kept me, but we got a new guy here in the booth with me, Robert Hill. Robert, what are you looking forward to see here? And welcome to the booth.
Yeah, thank you for the welcome, Chris. I'm excited to be here this season. Daytona is one of those tracks where really anything saw last with Trevor Ely relations. Obviously, it's going to be another interesting one here. 46 cars going for 43 spots, and it's going to be quite interesting to see who grabs that last spot as the qualifying running down quite late. Right now, the three cars on the outside looking in, depending on locked in status, would Harrison Hogan, Josh Robin, and
Yeah, looks like we got Scott Crump, Tyler Fody on the front row here. Taking a look here at tonight's race format, it's 120 laps. Stages are 30, 30, and 60 with no stage break. 6 sets of tires, but as you know, tires will not matter.
tell you they tires. Oh, obviously, Daytona, like you said, time does not matter. Another thing we're gonna have to take a good look at here. Daytona, hot. Track temp may creep up there a little bit right now. Fahrenheit, quite hot track right now. Maybe a little slippery as they get going, but quite the show here this evening. Cars.
Yeah, and one thing I would point out too is, that track temp, it could matter here, but at Daytona, the track temp creeping up doesn't matter as much as it would at a place like a mile and a half or a short track where you were going to have some off throttle time and it could really affect the grip. So I don't know that I put too much into that unless these guys start saying they're sliding around. But from everybody I talked to, these things are very stable, in practice, very, very easy to control. So
Absolutely, it's definitely gonna be how the race. Taking a look at our starting grid here, Chris, like you got pole there for White Lightning. Tyler Fody on the outside pole for the Lake Norman Sports. We got Trey Holmes, third. Our rookies winner we've seen late models quite well there. Jesse F. Green, enduring last year's outside pole sitter for the 500. And we have a pair of rookies, fixing.
yeah, and then we got Josh Adams, big winner the last time we were out, the guy that everybody had to finally get around to chasing there at the end. So look forward to seeing what he can do as they roll off a pit road here. Just trying to look. We got Rucker in 17th. I'm not seeing Chad Frankenfield is 19th. Tooker's back there. Brandon Key in his return. He's been gone, so he's returned tonight. Jacob Adams made the show. Tate Lytle sitting back there in 24th. Michael Goodman, again, this is the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. Let me hit some sponsor reads here really quick. Tonight's race is the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. Mrs. Goodies, they make hooded towels and handmade items for babies, kids, you, and your home. If you are more interested in finding out more, you can send her an email at miregoody@hotmail.com. TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing, fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services. Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small business, and Bridsicam. They are a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston, and they are on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. So we thank all our sponsors, everybody at Elite Racing Network, everybody who helps make this thing happen, Chad Frankenfield, as we come down and get the green here. Green is out. Scott Crump gets a good start. He's got good help there behind him. 2 by 2. Real quick before this thing gets going, Robert, you got to pick to win this thing tonight?
Yeah, looking through the field here this evening, obviously there's some big hitters in the Speedway race. I got to go with Tate Lytle in the car. He's always solid when we gonna hang back early on and show us what.
I think I am going to stick with the guy who finished last year on top. He's a great super speedway racer. I am going to pick Josh Adams in the 56. And we will see how it shakes out as we come around here off of 4. The cars are now up to speed. Scott Crump is going to come down, and he will lead lap 1. Side by side behind him for second on back, but Crump has about a half a car length or so lead out front.
By 2 all through the field so about Pete. This may let us get a little bit long before we see. I'm a driver in the field. I'm definitely a driver falling to the Cody Harrington.
Yeah, I think there's some flames on that machine too. That's a good looking car. New paint scheme starting out the year. That kind of gives me vibes of like Dale Jarrett back in like 01 when he drove a special UPS scheme there. It's kind of giving me those kind of vibes.
Yeah, there's definitely some new faces, new places here in paint scheme. I'll have to get already laps in it. Quite interesting how it doesn't look like too much impatience so far up at the front of the field, and have some battles throughout the midfield here.
Yeah, as right now we did get that lead change up there. It looks like is that Tyler Fody? It says 41 on my sheet, but I believe it is the 40 that you will see on your screen.
Tyler Fody up. Not sure why it says 41. We'll get that correct. It is in the 40 as well. Further back. From Cash J there, up to the 26th position. I think wide. They went back to 2 wide there. Looks like the whole field's just kind of settling in.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot less aggression here. They're 2 by 2 and whatnot, but there's not much pushing back in the pack. And I will say this, we saw Fody and Scott Crump run the truck race last night, and they controlled about 85% of it, along with Alex Van de Sant. I do not believe Van de Sant is in this field.
Yeah, Alex Van de Sant is not in the field for the season. Looking through, those guys did control most of the race last night, but another guy that spent a lot of time up there with them is Brent Jones in that 89 car, and currently he's sitting back in the 30th position. He started about 41st last night, so watch for Brent Jones to work his way up through. He's no hack when it comes to these.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit aggressive back there, about 20th or so. The pushes are getting more aggressive with guys back there. They're getting more comfortable. A lot of times in the practice and stuff, you don't get out here in a big pack of cars. And now these guys are in a big pack of cars for the first time, kind of getting, just keep inching up, inching up, inching up. You're trying to figure out how aggressive you can be. And, man, I don't know if I'd want to overstep that on lap 5, but you got to make sure, a lot of these guys running for season-long points. And the first points hand out of the season comes in just 25 laps on lap 30.
Yeah, this thing is going to progress rather quickly throughout. But you really definitely want to be careful. You want to be careful not to do crazy. You don't want to get yourself set too far back either.
Yeah, and as it sits right now, you can kind of start anywhere and make your way to the front. But so far, there's really no huge movers from the back. Everybody's kind of been double wide. You haven't really had time to make big moves. The top lane looks like it's formed up a little better and a little tighter than the bottom lane right now. Scott Crump trying to take that lead back up on the top.
Scott's doing a nice job there leading that outside line. Johnny Thomas and pusher. Trey Holmes pushing on the bottom, and Johnny Thomas is one of those guys that, you know, he's usually pretty good, but his luck is never too good on these tracks either. So Johnny Thomas hoping for a bit of a change in pace, hoping he can get himself up there and take a victory here tonight. As I do apologize, we have fixed the scoring monitor, so we are on lap 7 here. As actually you look way far back there, it looks like we have a second pack that has formed quite a ways back from the field. Leading that pack is Scott car with Brandon Key, Latham Joyner, and grab bag of other drivers here. But as you see, they're pushing 3 cars deep, and does not always work.
Yeah, as they just about wreck right there. I mean, they've done this on purpose. They haven't just lost the draft by accident. They've done this on purpose to try to miss the wreck. They're trying to hang out and survive. So the last thing you want to do is push somebody sideways there.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful. Obviously, last night that was my strategy as well. Kind of hang back, hope. We
got one churn down into the grass.
I believe that's Trey Holmes.
I think he'll be able to get it slowed down. He should be all right. Oh, we're checking up hard down into 3 as well.
Oh, we do have some contact up there.
But I think everybody survived.
Cash James here on the bottom, back up. Looks like everyone did make it through. Obviously, unfortunate for James and Holmes, but they should be able to continue on without much issue. Holmes does look okay. Obviously, not the start he wants. He'll work his way back up there rather early. Hopefully, he can just grab onto someone's draft here.
Got some guys pulling out now. There's some other guys pulling out the line. It's a little late for that. I think the almost wreck has kind of scared some of these guys.
Yeah, I think some guys, like you mentioned, are getting a little bit spooked here. You look at Jesse Rasmus going to the bottom here. He's going to totally miss the draft and not be able to rejoin here for quite some time, and he's going to be all alone. So that is not the move you want to make unless he's coming to pit road here.
It looks like he is.
No, he's staying out. That was just a fallback gone wrong for Rasmus. Going to be able to grab this pack that's pretty deep back here. That is not something.
It was for him for letting everybody get around him though. He could have just blended back up and could have went bad.
Yeah, he definitely could have pulled a Kevin LePage there, tried to pull back up, and sent everyone to the infield care center in this one. But glad he kind of thought it through, and kudos to Jesse for that. Hopefully he's able to stick with the field. I think he's going to grab Trey Holmes backs. May work out for those two guys that they're going to lose a lap and be able to join once we get the inevitable caution.
And we are 3 wide up here in the pack now. We have got a 3rd lane.
Looking back here, we got Dustin Dewar, Garrison Hogan, and I believe that is Ethan Stanley on the outside. Ball back there in the right heel car. Yeah, they are 3 wide through the middle here. Ethan Stanley looking to fall back. That doesn't always work because sometimes it gets a little too tight in the corners. He grabs a bit of the wall or someone pushes up too much and got ourselves a big wreck.
I don't know that he's necessarily looking to fall back. I think he got shuffled to the top and he tried to hang on. It looked like the 4 there tried to pull up and help him a little bit, but he just couldn't keep him up there.
Back of the pack, no harm done there, obviously. Pretty early.
Oop, we got the Goody cars falling out here.
Jeff Green. We're on the bottom. Hoping that these guys aren't far. Yeah, they'll be able to merge back up. There are no But strategy early on for these guys.
Yeah, and real quick here, I want to take a moment. I mean, we both know Dave does a ton for us here in Elite. He's not with us tonight, but he is sponsoring Casey Hatch out there.
Yeah, we'll
And trying to sponsor
start
some
here.
vehicles this year. Casey Hatch running the lead draft. Look at that great looking car.
That beautiful Ducksmith. Obviously, like you mentioned, Dave's the real all-star here at the Racing Network. Obviously, he's given us the we need out here. That beautiful Casey Hatch Ducksmith machine.
Yeah, and Dave doesn't get the credit he deserves. Anything we need from Chad to anybody. If you message Dave, you're going to get a response right away. He's going to be right there. He's going to, whatever is needed. We've already, 10 minutes before this broadcast, we each were reaching out with something we had, and we know that Dave is the guy when it comes to Elite Racing Network. So he is the unsung hero, and we're going to try to make sure we talk about him at least once every race, because the guy's he's a great guy, does a lot of stuff for Elite. A lot of guys don't know about him.
Absolutely. And as we were talking about Dave there, your broadcast partner from last night, Cheryl Campbell, took up into the picture and currently sitting.
Yeah, that is right. As we're 3 wide again up here in the middle of the pack.
Harrison Hogan on the outside. He may have some
Scott
help here
Crump
shortly.
Is pushing a little bit on the left rear. Man, you do not want to push on the left rear.
Yeah, no, that definitely does not help you. That bit me a few times in a race last Thursday where someone tried pushing. Just hooked me. It's unfortunate, but really easy if you do not hit square in these cars. It's pretty quickly gonna send you around.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. You might say, "Oh man, it can't be that hard to not hit somebody in the rear." Well, you go in there and you line up, and as soon as you get about 3 inches from the guy, all of a sudden he moves a little bit, and then you're like, "Oh, do I finish this? Do I not finish this?" And a lot of it depends on what part of the race you're in. If this early, you probably don't finish. But 5 laps to go, you're probably going to go ahead and give him that shot that you had lined up already.
A lot of patience has to take place in these super speedway races. Obviously, a lot of people think that it's really just gas and go, but there's so much strategy. Everything has to be methodically thought out. You can't just hit somebody and expect it to work. You really have to think it through. You got to find the right dancing partners. You got to just really, obviously, show some patience. Might have a chance to win it at the end if you play your cards right.
Yeah, and like you said, every move you make, you've thought about what can happen. If I make this move here and I don't get help, where am I going to go? If I make this move here and I get help, where can I? You got to kind of know. It's just very much a thinking and methodical thing. You're thinking, you see these moves, and these guys aren't making these moves just willy-nilly. They're thinking them out for 2, 3, 4 laps, what you want to do, where you want to be. Right now, you're already thinking, okay, if I'm going to win this race, where do I need to be at 5 to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you mentioned you're thinking about the end of the race. And if you look at the ticker, we're only on lap 17, so pretty early, but thinking of absolutely everything. Gerald just made that pass for the lead around Johnny Thomas by jumping up in front of Fody, got a little push, cleared him, came back down, and that worked out well for him. He's got to be thinking, okay, if I'm in the same situation at the end of the race, am I going to do the same thing? Am I going to do it differently? Got to think that through. Obviously, pit stops. That's another thing we've all way so far. People are going to start thinking soon about, do I early pit? Do I try to stretch it? What do I do? Obviously, Chris, you spoke to a couple drivers early on. What kind of information did they give you about pit windows and fuel and whatnot?
Well, I have received some new information on that. It looks like they can go about 45 laps or so on fuel.
Okay, that's definitely pretty good for them. They can put it probably into tops. Definitely helpful. Obviously, like we mentioned, not gonna really need tires, so that could definitely something that we see coming into play with pit strategy. As we look back at the second pack here, kind of single filed out. A couple stragglers on the top. Michael Goodman up there drops back. He's pretty good at these, like we saw earlier. Dropped out. Kind of using strategy to see what they can do keep their cars clean, and hopefully it works out for them. Hopefully maybe someone from the second group in at the end.
And one thing I do want to say here, before we lose it, is right now at the front there are two belly up sports machines. Like belly up sports, they do a lot of things for this league and for the sister league that is Erska that a lot of these guys run in. So two belly up sports machines now side by side down the backstretch.
Passing Trey Holmes, the lap car. We saw him go through the grass earlier. Obviously, Trey didn't want any more green except for paint on his car, but he picked up a lot of grass earlier. Falling back, these guys are going to make easy work of him here, and kudos to Trey for getting out of the way. Obviously,
yeah, but one thing for Trey there too is that car's not hurt. He should be able to blend in this draft. He just has lost the draft after the incident.
Yeah, Trey was easily able to just fall back into line here. He's going to get behind Ethan Stanley. Should help him kind of stay on track, stay with these guys. He's outside of Brent Jones, and he'll get that lucky dog.
And Josh Robin is up in this lead draft as well. And so he can't just sit back there and say, oh, I'll get the lucky dog. Josh Robin is the 5th car on the inside lane, and he is currently in the lucky dog position.
Oh, you're right there. Yeah, I did not even notice that Robin may have missed the start, actually, now that I think about it.
And here comes more company. Jesse Rasmus is also losing his lap as we come down the front stretch.
Yeah, as Jesse Rasmus kind of moved out of the way early on, could not merge back up, and cost him a lap. For guys like Trey Holmes and Josh Robin here, Jesse Rasmus, Jimmy.
Those two belly up sports machines still sitting out front.
Yeah, this is quite the day so far for belly up sports. Obviously, they're going to be right.
Yeah, and real quick here, what do you say? You got some onboard shots over there? You want to ride on board with Josh Robin and see what it's like being that 5th car in line on the bottom?
Yeah, let's take a look on board with Josh Robin.
Yeah, just listen to how much he has to lift. You're not just running around here wide open and whatnot, and how much he has to lift, roll off the throttle, and drag the brake.
Wobbly in front of him there. Car. Robin, he's picking up a little bit of steam here. Car on Scott Crump.
And see what he did on the back. You might think, oh, he was trying to get to. Oh, the 60's going to touch the apron. He's going to save it. Wow.
What a save!
That could have been big.
Yeah, that definitely could have been big in front of absolutely everybody in the field. Good job by Andrew Rucker, kind of giving him a chance to collect it before collecting everybody.
Yeah, and one thing on the back that you saw Josh Robin do was poke out. And look, he's just trying to see ahead. He wasn't trying to make a 3-wide move. Like, you might think, oh, he's trying to make it. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get some kind of line of sight to be able to see what's going on. Everything happens so quick that if you're the 10th guy in that line and there's a wreck on the second row, you're not going to see it. If you're up on somebody's bumper, lined right up with them, you're not going to see anything until they're sitting on your nose. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to poke out and find some way to get a line of sight to see what's going on up in front of you. Looks like Tyler Fody has got help from Wyatt there on the outside.
Trying to help Tyler Fody's. Still pretty early, but these guys want to try to get up there themselves, take the lead. They can do, but good push by Wyatt Knievel out there.
Yeah, and one thing of note here is at the line we will have 6 laps left in stage 1, so we are 6 laps from the first points handout of the season. And believe me when I tell you, every one of these drivers know that in 6 laps there are points on the table.
Yeah, and points are really important in all the elites. All last night Truck Series, Ty McIntosh finished 13th in the overall race, but he was able to score 2nd and 8th place stage point. He's actually tied for the points lead after the race. So any chance you get to get stage points is going to be huge. You definitely want to do what you can, try to get up there. Right on board with Gerald here. It was like looking out front, looking from the lead. Gerald's enjoying that view.
Yeah, and as the leader, you're just on the throttle. You're wide open. You're not, at this point in the race, you're not probably dragging back. If it was inside of 10 to go or so, you're probably not wanting to get away from the guy behind you to let him build a run. But at this point, that's practically a teammate. I'm sure the belly up guys are working together. If not, it's awfully convenient that they found each other up here at the front. But that's all you're doing as the leader. As Fody is going to get clear and jump down in front of that belly up train.
Another Fody doing a rather nice job here. Gerald does not want to be in second. He's going right back to the top, getting back to wide Canadal, and they're going to go try to push their way back up there.
Yep, coming to 4 to go at the line here.
Wyatt and Gerald got disconnected. Wyatt kind of backing off. He does not want to get him when not square, because obviously that will cause a wreck.
Look how much harder the pushes are getting now too. Everybody's getting a little closer, pushing a little harder. Oh, the 14, it gets turned sideways on the apron, but he saves it.
Yeah, Casey Hatch able to gather it back up there. Casey's done a really nice job so far, obviously showing his car control. Back up there.
I don't even know that he lost anything but a car length or two.
Yeah, he definitely didn't lose too much, but like you mentioned, pushes are definitely getting harder. Here with Wyatt Canadal, back of Gerald Campbell. Wyatt's going to go right through that back bumper. He's willing to do it to try to get Gerald up there.
Yeah, these pushes are getting more aggressive because, like I said, these drivers know that the stage end is coming. They know that they've got 3 laps. You got 3 laps. If you're running 15th, you got 3 laps to get to the top 10. If you're running 5th, you got 3 laps to try to win the stage. That's what everybody's goal is.
Everyone wants these stage points as Wyatt's looking top here. He's actually going to just fall right back in. Might be wanting to get some air on that nose, try to cool it off a little bit. A little further back, RC looking to the top here with Ethan Stanley. Going to fall back in line and for that hole.
Scott Crump is the guy that makes the move. Josh Robbins going to go to the middle. I think Josh Adams is going to follow Robin here instead of following the lead lap car of Crump.
As you see Robin get a little bit loose there in the middle. He's going to hold on to it as we have Jake Hayner looking like he was sideways for a second there. Good job by him collecting that one. He's going to come back up here in front of Casey Hatch, but back up at the front, it's Gerald Campbell and Tyler Fody battling for that stage win here.
Yeah, and just 2 to go in the stage, and that move to the very top of 3 wide does not appear like it's going to help Crump, but he's kind of getting some help now, and he's kind of going to have, is Josh Robin going to pull up in front of him?
Yeah, Josh Robin might be wanting to get his lap back the hard way here, which would definitely benefit Jesse Rasmus, who would be the next lap car in line. Crump can get him out front here, but what I'm seeing is a lot of cars, a lot of movement here in this middle lane. So, that could get interesting as well.
Yeah, and we're going to have 1 to go here for the stage. 1 lap to go. This is kind of like what we're going to see at the end of the race. You might not make the same bold move right here that you would make for the win, but this is kind of a precursor to what we're going to see here in about, 60 laps.
They're battling for the win within the race here. It's a race within a race, obviously. You guys just continue to battle hard. It's basically door to door here between Cody and Campbell, but look at the run Josh Robbins getting on that outside. There's a few cars have come in line, him and Crump, like the 25 machine, while Jacob Adams is going to use lessons learned from his brother to try to get up there.
Here we come to the stage. I think Gerald's going to win the stage.
Yeah, that should be a stage victory for Gerald Campbell. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, there is no stage yellow. So actually, Josh Robin getting out front will not get someone.
Yeah, and real quick here before we come back around, we got Gerald Campbell, Tyler Fody, Wyatt Canadal, Johnny Thomas, Scott Crump, Josh Adams, Jacob Adams, Joey Chapman, Garrison Hogan, Andrew Rucker are your stage points. 1 through 10 right there.
Definitely a big help with at the end of the season for these guys. Every point matters towards the playoffs, so obviously everyone's going to be racing hard here. Looks like a cloud's coming over the track here.
Look quick,
down.
everybody calm down. They knew that was for the stage. They were willing to put it on the edge. And you know what? I say mission accomplished. They were able to do it without wrecking. And so now we're about 15 laps away or so from a pit stop. And who would have thought we'd be looking at possibly a green flag stop for the first stop of the year?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be thinking green flag stop. But hey, take it as we get it. Got a bit of strategy.
As there are 89 laps to go. So I would say in about 9 laps, the window will be open if you wanted to do 40, 40, and 40. So at right around 80 to go is when I think we'll start seeing some pit stops, possibly in the 80. Like the window will actually open here in the next 3 or 4 laps, but I don't know if anybody's going to come that soon, just because I'm not sure if they're wanting to maybe go ahead and just split it up, or they'll have a little bit for a green white checkered at the end. Or maybe when the window opens, you think, I want to get out of the pack and try to get down here. As Josh Robin is right now on the lead lap.
Yeah, Josh Robin doing a really nice job up here with these guys. We're just overlaid. See if we can get that back up.
Now, I do know that he is teammates with Tyler Fody. So Tyler might be saying, hey, this is good with me. If you sit here, get your lap back if the caution comes.
I know these guys are looking ahead to that pit stop as well.
Oh, Fody turns him a little sideways. Oh, we're going to have a caution here. No, maybe not. Yes, we are. Trey Holmes, Ethan Stanley.
Guys are in the back. See if we can pull this up on the Whiskey Cast replay here if it loads for us.
Holmes is just sitting here trying to get a caution. Oh, and we're going to get other cars coming in. I think that needs to be looked at for Trey Holmes. That he just sat there trying to get a caution.
As we see numerous cars just get absolutely destroyed there. See if we can load this up.
Yeah, you can't sit there on the track that long. That is ridiculous.
I think it starts up there with Garrison Hogan and Ethan Stanley. Trey Holmes gets a peek. Obviously, a bunch of other cars pile in for Dustin. Like Harrison Talon as well.
I think it started with Fody and Josh Robin. I think everything started reacting to them down into one.
Yeah, this is definitely not good. Cash James, all of their heavy damage. Really unfortunate for everybody here. Get this back up and run.
But yeah, in my opinion, I mean, he's done for the night. Trey Holmes is done for the night. And this is nothing personal. I've talked to Trey a little bit. He's a good guy, nice guy. But he should not be allowed to race tonight, and maybe needs talked to, and maybe not even allowed to race next week. You can't sit on the track that long knowing, like, he's trying to bring out a caution. The caution didn't come out. He sat there, didn't tow, didn't move, didn't nothing until the car started coming, and he tried to move up and got clobbered. If you watch that back, Trey Holmes gets clobbered by that second pack. And this is right on the edge of their fuel window that we were talking about. But real quick here, while you're doing that, I am going to I'm going to hit up some sponsor reads. This is the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. Mrs. Goodies has been a partner of the league for quite a while now. Great people. I've spent some time talking to Goody. I've not talked to the runner, his mother of Mrs. Goodies, but she seems like an awfully nice lady from what I've heard. So they do hooded towels, handmade items for babies, kids, you and your home, and you can contact her for your items if you're interested. Go check them out. Email them, see what's going on, see what they got. If you want it, I'm sure that it can happen from Mrs. Goodies. You can reach her at miregoody at hotmail.com. And then, of course, we've got our sponsors for the race tonight and premier partners for all season. TA Services, Blue Egg Marketing. We're the marketing department for you, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And Britta Cam, and they are going to reimagine the group photo experience. Going on the days of carrying around a tripod or selfie stick, they help their customers and users tell better stories. And TA Services, I don't believe I did the sponsor read there. I just said TA Services, so let me get caught up on that. They are a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehouse, and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. And, of course, everyone here at the Elite Racing Network, Dave, Robert, everybody who helps out, Chad for running the league from the top down. It is all great stuff, a lot of fun. If there's a series that you want to run in Elite, reach out to Chad, reach out to the Elite Twitter, and they will find a league for you. Everything from stock cars to open wheel can find its home at Elite. Here we come down for the restart. Green is out, and our new restart procedure here, we are using the new sim procedure here with the restart zone. You have to go inside that restart box. It's new for the league this week, starting this week at Daytona, and we'll use it through the season. Scott Crump with the push from Josh Adams there. Side by side for the lead out front. It looks like Gerald might pull ahead here down the back. Not quite going to get clear.
Up there with his got to get that lead. Obviously, as we mentioned, the scoring tower is having some technical difficulties, but we'll about it. You guys are on lap 30. 20 here this evening.
Yeah, and it is a one-stop race from here, but you've kind of got to run it out. You're going to have to run 2 full fuel runs. And some guys who lost laps there. Josh Robin did get back on the lead lap. Jesse Rasmus got the lucky dog. Vandermole is 3 laps down. Cash James is 3 laps down. Westergreen, Trey Holmes. I'm assuming those guys are all done and out after that big wreck.
Yeah, it does look like they are done for the evening. Fortunately, Justin Vandermeer, Cash James, Westergreen, Trey Holmes, like you mentioned, all out of this one. Definitely unfortunate. Probably shouldn't have happened.
Oh, we got a wreck here on the front stretch. Matthew Weeks is around. He's one of the cars I've seen. Oh, Brent Jones in the 89 just hit the inside wall head on. No caution. No caution. Matthew Weeks is going to drive away. Brent Jones is done. That car appears to be...
Yeah, Brent Jones missing a nose. On. Doesn't look too bad from this angle, but definitely unfortunate for you guys. Race will continue on.
The 42 got a piece of that, Michael Hosack. The 76 also is down on the apron in this incident. That's Jake Finch. But we do get away without a caution, but that has really strung this field out. And new leader here on the front stretch is Josh Adams
Josh
with a
Adams,
push from Gerald
nice
Campbell.
job.
That really strung the field out here, Robert. I think we might be pushing. We've got some small packs now that really strung everything out.
Got our ticker back up and work. Thank you to Magic Man Huckleberry for walking us. Yeah, looking back up front, like you mentioned, these guys are trading the lead. Gerald Campbell, Josh Adams. What a race so far here, Chris.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good race. Couple incidents now, one caution, and Josh Adams is the leader. And you talk about Dave, that 14 of Casey Hatch, through all that mayhem, is still part of this lead draft.
Casey Hatch doing job tonight. Casey doesn't get to run nearly as much as he'd like military commitments, but we're glad to have him here. Thank you to him for his service as well. Obviously, proud to have. Yeah, Dave Huckleberry, obviously. What a car. Let's continue on with this battle for the lead.
Yep, they are still sitting side by side with Scott Crump and Josh Adams on the top, Tyler Fody, Gerald Campbell on the Tyler Fody on the top, Josh Adams, Scott Crump on the bottom.
Yeah, Joey Chapman sitting bottom of that. He has Hooker him. Nice job, obviously. Crump looking to the bottom there. Maybe just trying to get some air, or like you mentioned, just trying to see what's going on. Obviously, sightline is in these things. You'll see guys slide up on the backstretch, trying to take a peek, see what's going on, if anything's happening up in front. Happening up front is a great battle for the lead, continuing between Gerald and Josh.
Yep, Gerald Campbell, Josh Adams. Two guys that I expect, I'm pretty sure Josh is running full time. I'm not sure about Gerald. We'll have to wait and see, but two guys you expect to see running up at the front here. Gerald, got out of the booth last night and got into the car tonight, and he's ready to go and put these belly up cars up front, as they are just separated by Tyler Fody on the top before he gets back to his belly up brother and Johnny Thomas.
Behind Anderson, Chad was looking high just a moment ago. Nobody to go with him. Chad Thornquist doing a nice job there, just outside the top 10.
Yep, lots of guys up here in this lead draft. Right now there is about, 20 cars that are part of this lead draft. Then you have Harrison by himself, and then a while back before you get to Dustin Dewar, Jeff Green, Brandon Key, Tate Lytle, those guys.
You guys have the pack going way off the pack.
I am not sure what they're going to accomplish running double wide.
Yeah, double wide definitely doesn't help when you're way far back like this. They're about 8.5 seconds off the lead pack, so that's definitely not going to help them whatsoever. Obviously, looking like quite a few of them have some damage. Maybe they're not really able to keep it back, but back up front, that battle continues.
Yeah, if I had to guess, some of those guys got damaged and some of them checked up and they lost the draft and now they're just trying to get it back. But racing that hard is going to probably give them the caution they need. They just don't want to be the caution. But they are losing about half a second to 3/4 of a second a lap back there.
Yeah, and there's some pretty decent drivers in that group back there on Superways, such as Jeff Green. This group here, Chad Thurk falling back. Join right in front of what looks Vincent quiet in this, but still pretty early on.
Here's the caution.
Caution is
Oh,
out.
it's Dustin Dewar. It's Michael Goodman. Just what I was telling you about. You don't want to be part of the wreck.
Yeah, it looks like, as we'll pull up on the Whiskey Cast replay, it looks like it was that pack, like you mentioned. It
Jeff
was way
Green,
far off the field.
24 is a piece of it. That started with Jeff Green just pushing off center. Cannot push off center.
Yeah, right there, pushing off center.
Oh, the 71 is
Oh,
also heavily in this wreck. So is the 66.
like Yari picked up a piece of that one as well in the 24 machine. 66, that beautiful paint scheme. Dave Carpenter as well in the 71. Heavy damage on some of these guys, and it'll probably end of the night.
Yeah, you just got to be smarter than that when you lose the draft. They were pressing, trying to catch back up. You just know how to catch up. You need a caution, and you need to not be the caution. That was not a smart decision there by Jeff Green to push that far off center.
Yeah, you had actually mentioned earlier that really you do not want to be the cause of that caution. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Jeff wrecked himself and all of his teammates. That was, all of the team right there.
We have a couple cars hitting pit road here. Probably the majority of the field to come down, try to take some fuel, be on the same pit strategy as everybody else. I'll actually be surprised if anybody stays out.
Yeah, this definitely puts you in the window to make it on one more stop. If you were close before, this is practically going to put you in it. So it opens up your option on when you do decide to pit.
A handful of cars will stay out on track. Is just behind him will be Scott Crump and Josh Adams rejoining the field.
Yep, going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. Because his pit window is not going to he's going to have to pit before everybody else.
He's definitely going to be off sequence
you
here.
don't
I
want
don't
to
know.
pit
He
by
might
yourself.
be. He might be just trying to lead a lap here, Chris. Get a bonus point for a lap led. But we'll see in a moment here. Back around the 9 car to pit road.
Yeah, because it would be terrible to pit by yourself. You have to pit by yourself at Daytona. Your shot to win is pretty much over.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to pit by yourself. Like earlier, the draft is really important. Speedway races. Without the draft, you are in trouble. Will not be able to keep up with the pack, and it's going to be a bad day. But it looks like Jay Kaner is actually going to stay out here.
Yeah, I mean, the fuel, he can make it, but I wonder if he's got friends, and he's like, hey, look, I'm going to pit at this lap. Will you guys pit with me? That could be something there. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Jay's actually an independent. So he could be trying to team up with some guys that he trusts up here. Tyler Fody, Josh Adams, guys up front. Or he just wants some TV time.
Yeah, I mean, he might he might be an independent, but I'm sure he's got friends. You're going to, and if he can stay at the front, I mean, you know as well as I do, if you show these guys that you have the ability, you can run with them, you can race with them, you can be safe, you're going to make some friends. If they're like, hey, I like what this guy's doing, he's making smart moves that are going to keep us from getting wrecked and keep us at the front, then you're going to make some fast friends out here.
Absolutely. And, just quickly speaking on that, a guy that I've raced with a few times, he's back here just outside the top 20-ish. Yeah, he's in 20th. Kynan Jones. I've raced with him in another league. He made his truck debut last night, and that was his goal. It worked out well for him. Got himself a clean truck. Made some allies out there, and I think he's going to use that to his advantage here this evening. So, like you mentioned, really got to try to find your friends, gain that trust, gain the respect, and it'll work out in the end.
Yeah, we'll see. We're going to be we've lost some more cars here. The leader did pick the top right here. Green is out. Oh, he gets away with no help. No help for him. Unless Scott Crump is going to let him down.
Yeah, so on a regular track that's not a super speedway, a start like that would be fantastic. But at a super speedway where the draft is so important, that start like that's really not too helpful. But he'll get down in front of Crump, and he may be able to salvage this.
They are shoving pretty good on the top lane though, but he's got 2 good pushers behind him.
Yeah, Scott Crump and Josh Adams behind him, and then Andrew Rucker, Chad Frankenfield. Well, Tyler Fode's getting a push on the high side from RC Enerson and Latham Joyner.
And Latham did a great job in the truck race last night. He was up there racing at the front and ultimately got wrecked right at the end. So he is, if they ran the truck race, they know, hey, this guy knows what he's doing, he's at the front. And so we will see if the same thing shakes out tonight. He's found his way up here with these boys and see if he earns the trust of some of these guys for later in the race.
Absolutely, and I've had the privilege of commentating these late model series this offseason, and Latham's done a really nice job there. Obviously, trying to race with the big boys here tonight in this season, and he's going to be one to watch throughout the whole year. I think as the season goes on, he's just going to get better and better and really show people what he can do. But Jay Kaner, he stayed out. He's doing a nice job here with Scott Crump as Crump actually moves up in front of Fode. Josh Adams will come up to the back of Jay Kaner here.
Yeah, and we got Scott Crump moving up on the top here. I believe we've missed something. Something has happened at the back here.
Yeah, looks like might have involved David Tooker. Take a look, see if we can find it here. We have a Tate Lytle off track. Right here.
Yeah, it looks like it started with Josh Robin. The 39 got a piece of it. The 14, Dave Huck's machine.
Casey actually get a piece of that, or was he able to stop? Let's.
He got a pretty good piece of it here down in the 3. He hit the outside wall with the right front, collected a bunch of cars. I don't know how that wasn't a caution. I see Brandon Key back here.
He was in that. Josh Robin, 45 machine. Harrison Hogan might be able to make. Inch goes through the grass to get around it. Unfortunately, he's going to hit the 39 machine. Yeah, I'm not too sure how we stayed green with that one, Chris, but we're back up at the front. The battle continues, and definitely lost a good handful of cars there. As I'm seeing Brandon Ultra on pit road, David Tooker, Jeff Green and Jake Finch are still out there. Dave Carpenter on pit road, Brett Jones, Vandermeer, Wester Green, Holmes. Those guys were in earlier incidents, but keep picking up more guys and more guys that are getting into wrecks here. Key on the bottom here as we go back by a lap car here up top.
Yeah, and I hate that for the great Dave here, man. Dave Huck, man. It had a good run, was looking pretty good, and I mean, that's how fast it happens at Daytona. But I am sure Casey will be back out there next week, and we'll find a way to get that thing back up at the front.
Still out there working with Josh Robin, but pretty far back at this point. Hopefully, they may be able to get it fixed up, but 28 is going to be tough. Work their way back up, but like you mentioned, Casey will be around, back, going to find his way to the.
And we are now down to just 14 cars in the lead draft.
Yeah, definitely a big drop off from that lead pack. The next closest is Michael Hossack and Ethan Stanley, 12 seconds back. Then behind them, it's another 11 seconds back to Gerald and the pack, including Matthew Wheat, Harrison Hogan, new good cars, and a few others. But this has really separated the field here. The front, they were too wide, then they went back to single, now they're back to too wide.
Yep, the front 14, and they're all double wide. Tyler Fode, Scott Crump, got help from Jay, and Jay made that pit call to get some track position. I mean, he's looking pretty smart now. He got the track position and was in front of that wreck.
collect it. But yeah, you know, if Jay would have been back in the field, he might have been in that wreck, might have been taken out, and been a big brain move there by Jay Kaner. I'd just like to quickly
Cars on the top get here, and now we've got RC dropping to the bottom, and he's going to lead his first laps of the night.
Yeah, RC Hanson actually started back in the second position here this evening. He's up 41 spots. So great movement forward by our professional. Right? One of you, Jeff Green.
Yeah, and there are discussions in a lobby right now about why the cautions aren't flying tonight when they feel like they should.
Yeah, sometimes on iRacing you'll see if an incident happens off the racing surface, caution will be on. That was well on the racing surface, so a little bit surprising. The field coming up on a lap car here.
That is Josh Robin. It looks like he's going to stay on the bottom. Number 8, but I think his chance to win tonight is over.
Definitely unfortunate there for Josh Robin. He was doing a really nice job trying to get himself back up into the Packer. It's definitely going to be unfortunate, but you never know. Anything can really happen in these things. By another lap car there. Looks like the 66 of Cody Harrington. Fall back in line. Well, the field's done a really nice job here in the lead pack getting by these lap cars, but back to the discussion in the server about the cautions not coming out. That definitely could have changed the whole look of the race if we had gotten a few cautions when they were really just, not sure why the yellow flags are not flying tonight. Obviously, they are turned on. We did have one early on, but we'll see if we have any future incidents that go without a yellow.
Yeah, and right now if you're in front of these 14, you're in front of these front guys, you don't want another yellow. You can settle it amongst yourselves. Green flag stop, you'll probably lose some more.
Last car in this pack is Mike Knadel and Zach Evans. Zach Evans doing a job in that Meet 5 machine. He's been part of the NASA space program a few times over the last week here at Daytona. Obviously hoping to keep all 4 wheels on the ground tonight, and he's done a nice job of that so far.
Vincent Isabella up here in the Bat Flip podcast. Got himself up here in this front group for when the strategy went haywire and the wrecks that didn't bring out a yellow.
Vincent Isabella doing a nice job here. He's on the back end of Chad Thornquist, pushing Chad Thornquist all the way up. Chad's going to actually be right there behind our new race leader, Latham Joyner.
Yeah, and there's Latham to the lead. We saw him do this on the truck race last night.
Latham really showing his strength here tonight. Scott, maybe not playing too nice with the new guys here this evening as he'll get out of line and hop up in front of Thornquist for another push back up to the front. But credit to Latham Joyner. He's done a nice job this evening. And like we mentioned earlier, he's definitely going to earn the respect.
And they are going to be negotiating lap cars again here very soon. And there's going to be lap cars all through the rest of this race if there's no caution. They're all strung out. There's cars all the way around this racetrack. Chad Frankenfield making a 3-wide move here. Going to shoot up to be the 4th car in that top lane.
Chad doing a nice job navigating around Rucker there and Joey Chapman. Chad, no stranger to finding his way to the front at these tracks as Thornquist goes to the outside to fall back here. Good chance he may be running a little hot in temps or seeing something he's not liking there as Latham Joyner gets pushed from Tyler Foat bottom and got a little squirrely, so maybe Chad's sensing something that we're not, or
yeah, and Josh Adams is falling back there too. I wonder if they're thinking there's no way these guys are going to be able to make it doing this.
Right at the back of the pack. Hopefully Adams can stay with them here as he's at the ball. Get the draft from Zach Evans, but looking for a second there, like he might fall a bit.
Yeah, these cars aren't like the Cup cars. If you're close enough to get the draft, you'll pull right back up as they negotiate more lap cars here. Like I said, lap cars for the rest of the race. We are about 15 to 20 laps from the pit window opening. And remember, Jay Canor is the one guy who will not be able to run as long as everybody else.
Yeah, Jay's definitely gonna have to start thinking about pit stops here. But the unfortunate part for him is everyone up here is on the same pit strategy except for him. So,
Whoa, Tyler Fody moves out, gets sideways, and then there's contact with Scott Crump.
Scott Crump getting a bit of contact there. Vincent Isabella up toward the ball.
That car looked like it was just in a four-wheel drift when he pulled out of line.
Yeah, that definitely got a little interesting there. Obviously, everyone has gotten things gathered back up and gone, but that could have been huge.
Here's what's going to be interesting about this right here. Some of these guys do not have damage. They just checked up, missed the wreck, lost the draft, and now they're going to start filing in with these guys. I think Johnny Thomas looks pretty clean.
Yeah, Johnny
Well, I'm
Thomas,
not sure what Tate Lytle is doing right here, moving up. That he has no nose on that machine.
Yeah, not too sure what Tate's doing. I think he's trying to find a way in line as Wyatt Canadle jumps up in front of Chad Frankenfield. I think he got caught behind the lap cars, but yeah, Tate Lytle just falling back through the here. No nose, so that's definitely not helping him out whatsoever as they continue to navigate lap traffic. Coming up on another group here. Michael Goodman, Dustin Dewar, Yari Brubaker.
Yeah, and Johnny Thomas, like I said, his car is clean. So he's going to be able to file in with these guys.
Yeah, Johnny looking just fine here. He probably got checked up for that wreck a little bit earlier and lost the draft. It happens quite often here, but so this 19 car David Tooker has retired from the race control for that update. There goes Jay Kaner.
Jay Canor.
Wyatt Canadle going around. Like Chad Thornquist, or not Wyatt Canadle, Kynan Jones. We'll pull that one up on the Whiskey Cast replay. That is not what these guys were hoping for.
Cody just got into the back of the 9. The 73 and the 02 slide through, but I think they're okay.
Yeah, like you. Oh, Joey Chapman got a big piece of it too. Jay Kaner goes around, slides down. Back it up and see what happened there with Kynan Jones and Chad Thornquist. They get by this incident, but definitely had something of their own go on there.
Who just checked up. Yeah. He didn't get checked up. Wow. Chad Thornquist. Wow. What a lucky right there. Holy wow.
Let's take a little fun ride with Chad Thornquist through that one. Gets into the back of Kynan Jones. Wow, 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 wow. The race so far there for Chad Thornquist. That's impressive.
Yeah, we saw Fody get sideways a lap before, and then just a little push going wrong, and spins the 9.
Thornquist P12 right now, but could have been E on the truck because that was not a good side out of his nose there. Taking a look, our lead lap has really thinned out here. Chris, you do not have too many trucks left on this lead lap with us.
Yeah, we are down to just 19. Johnny Thomas is going to get the lucky dog right here.
Johnny Thomas, you definitely cannot count him out. He, like we saw earlier, he does not have a ton of damage. And
I do think we're going to see pit stops. We are still outside of the window by like 8 to 12 laps in that range.
Yeah, just about everyone's going to come down pit road here. Obviously, lap cars are going to stay out, see if they can get their lap back. Johnny Thomas, Dustin Yari Brubaker, Tate Lytle, Kynan Jones, all staying out. Taking the wave around here. Can race off pit
and the
road,
lappers
RC.
Can't pit with the lead lap cars either, so they can't pit till next time. Like, I expect Johnny Thomas to pit next time, being the lucky dog.
Yeah, Johnny taking his lucky dog. He's going around the track here. RC and Jacob Adams up to P here. Nice gain on him, Latham. Sure. Fine Canadian. Dad Frankenfield. Scott Crump, Andrew Rucker. Matthew Weeks actually rebounding back up here. Saw him in an earlier incident. Car doesn't look bad. Might have something for these guys. Zach Evans, strong run.
Yeah, and a lot of guys I think chose to take tires here to try to not have to take tires later. I think nobody's going to take tires the rest of the race. So I think you had some guys take 4 here just to do it.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly give a shout out here to Michael Hossack. He's running 11th. Had a fairly quiet evening so far, but looking back to that race last night, Chris, he was just mere moments away from a good shot at that victory, and fortunate for him, he got caught up in an incident. But Michael Hossack might be a guy to watch here towards the end of this one.
Yeah, and anybody who's still running with a clean car, even if we might get to the end and it might be you don't even need a clean car. I mean, anybody still running is going to have a shot at this later.
Absolutely. There's guys up here. Looks like they're going to take the wave around. Justin Dewar taking the wave around. Yari Brupacker, Tate Lytle, Condon Jones. We just saw him in that last incident. No rear end on that car. Barely no front end on Tate's car. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these guys fare out. But they'll take the they'll take the wave back on late lap, and they can do as lights are off in the pace car.
Yeah, and those guys taking the wave, they're taking the wave because there's a rule that if you go 6 laps down, you have to leave the server done, too far off pace. So these guys are buying an extra lap here because they were so far off pace. They're going to get lapped. If this thing runs 30 laps, they'll probably lose all 6 laps.
Yeah, most definitely. Any bit of aerodynamic damage really just on these ways, and most of those cars we saw go around definitely having a bit of aero damage, not a lot of aero damage. So like trying to avoid that 6-lap rule, see if they can continue. And again, at the end of the season, every point matters. So going to take that to heart and see what they can gain.
Yeah, and our leader is RC, and then we got Jacob Adams in second. As we come down to the restart zone.
Can't fire off until they're in this restart box. RC waiting for the green flag to come out here. That'll really pack them up a bit. Wyatt Canadle and Jacob Adams are hooked up on the top. Chad Frankenfield, Latham Joyner on the bottom, but RC kind of all alone up there. Latham gets up to his bumper and
coming to him now. Those two. Then you got Jacob Adams up there in the car on 25.
Jacob Adams doing a nice job here so far this evening. He's the new race leader. See if he drops down in front of RC. I don't know. I think he might stick with Wyatt Canadian. Wyatt got a good push there. Wyatt's been a good push. I think if I was out there, I would definitely feel comfortable with really any of these guys pushing me, Chris, because there's some real talent in this.
Yeah, I'm not sure he ever got clear into 3 to drop down, as RC is going to be the leader this time by. Right now, the wrecked guys that got to restart in front of the clean guys, they're just trying to navigate that and not lose the draft. Like, if you look behind this pack, there's cars kind of everywhere trying to not lose the draft.
Johnny Thomas working with Vincent Isabella, trying to catch that field up ahead of them. A little bit further up, Ethan Stanley's the last car in that lead pack. That's their lifeline right here. Vincent Isabella and Gianni Thomas really want to grab his draft to try to get back with the field, because I think both of these guys definitely, looking at their cars, they're clean. They have a shot. They can do it. And just a little further back, we got all these guys that fortunately are heavily damaged. Gonna ride around, see what they can do, and battle continues at the front. RC Anderson, Latham Joyner, and Jacob Adams.
Yeah, I think we're looking at less than 20 clean cars right now that are going to be able to stay in this draft.
Yeah, even with a little bit of damage, you can definitely stay in the pack. You'll need to be ahead of somebody just so you can have that little bit of a safety net. Kind of the situation I was in last week. Guys in this field that dealing with the same Latham joiner to the lead. Doing a really nice job here so far tonight, and you can have RC behind him, and RC's been really good.
Yeah, he pulled up to get the push by there on the backstretch and did it in one straightaway there. Now will RC give him the same treatment if he gets clear to the top?
Very well may do that. I don't know if he'll really be able to get. Wyatt Canedo's doing a really nice job keeping Jacob up there, keeping them really tight, but really never know. It's all about how the lines run. One guy leaves that top line, and all of a sudden, all their momentum's gone, and they're falling back.
I think RC should maybe get clear here soon. They are not locked up on the top right now.
RC barely has the clearance right now, but there he goes. He's going to the top. He's gonna try the exact same thing Latham Joyner did to get by him. Chad Frankenfield coming up to the bumper at Latham Joyner. Jacob Adams to the rear of RC Anderson. RC gonna push, trying to get that lead once again.
And Jake's pushing all the way through the corner here on RC.
Yeah, these guys are working really hard trying to get the lead. You know, they're swapping it for the last handful of laps here. But yeah, RC, wonder if he's gonna drop as soon. Gonna try to work with Jacob a little bit.
I just don't think RC had the run when he pulled out like the 3 had on him.
Chad Thornquist gets a little crazy loose in the middle of the pack here. Be able to gather it up. Here's down in front of Latham right here. Back to Latham second and yeah, nice.
Now, one thing that I think we did miss here, as part of the broadcast, we missed the second stage, did we not?
Yeah, we did, Chris, actually. Yeah, I think it might have fallen under that yellow that we had. Not.
Yeah, was that? Oh, we got Latham doing a block. Oh, we got some checking up here in the top lane now, too.
Winner up there with Jacob Adams on the top side. RC Anderson and Chad Frankfield on the bottom. And then there's a whole gap back to Wyatt Canedo and Scott Crump. If Canedo and Crump can get hooked up, Crump blinks out there for just a moment. Matthew Week goes to the top side with Andrew Rucker. As they're coming up on a lap car here. This is going to close them right back up. But, you know, if they get that gap once again, and Weeks and Crump can get hooked up, they could just drive right by them.
Yeah, we got away pretty lucky there without getting a yellow. Going backed up tight though here, with Adams pushing the 3, and Frankenfield is pushing on the 50.
Working together real nicely. Jacob Adams pushing on Latham Joyner here, like you mentioned. RC Chad Frank on the bottom. Latham goes back to as it'll now be the 90 of Scott Crump pushing Jacob Adams for the lead, with Matthew Weeks right behind him.
And one thing to point out here, we are in the fuel window. If caution comes out, they can make it. The green flag stops could start at any point. You can make it like it's you can make it to the end on fuel from this point.
I think at this point, Chris, you really want to try to wait it out as long as you can, take the least amount of fuel possible. Just you can have a quick stop in and out, but at the same time, you really got to be careful because obviously we've had quite a bit of attrition here this evening. Just taking out quite a few drivers, mixed the teams up quite a bit, and you know, you don't want to be the only guy to go down pit road, as we mentioned earlier. Is that could really just end your race.
Yeah, I think if I was able to have a good group of guys that I trusted, I might pit at 40 to go and fill it up. Yeah, that's 5 laps extra, but that buys you probably at least 1, maybe 2 green-white checkers. You pit at 40 to go, fill it up. You're not going to need a full tank. that might be something I do if I'm out here with some friends. Like if I'm Josh Adams, I'm maybe talking to Matthew Weeks. I'm talking to Jacob Adams. That's my brother. You know, I'd be talking to those people, and maybe Johnny Thomas, Gerald Can. I'd try to get about 5, 6 guys and say, let's pit at 40 to go. Just put fuel in it. Just fill it up with fuel and get back out here, because you're going to have help around the track as you catch these slower groups of cars that are spread out all through the track.
You see Jacob Adams has dropped in front of Latham Joyner here. That gives the outside lead to Matthew Weeks. But yeah, as you mentioned, you really want to find your friends in the field, see who's willing to work with you. Not try to get a real strategy in place well in advance of the pit stop, because you do not want to be scrambling at the last second, you know, half a lap of fuel left, drops in the tank, and wondering, how am I going to pit? Who's going to pit with me? And be panicking, because that is not what you want to be, as Scott Crump takes the lead with help from Matthew Weeks.
Yep, Matthew Weeks is somebody that you just pointed out earlier, and that's somebody I said that I would talk to Josh Adams. Those two are teammates. You got Josh Adams and Matthew Weeks teammates. Then you've, of course, got Jacob Adams, who has no teammates up here, but he does have a brother, so he'd probably jump on that strategy. And then you're just trying to get 1 or 2 other guys, you know. I'm sure Josh Adams and Jacob Adams and Matthew Weeks have enough friends out here that would maybe pit with him.
Yeah, they definitely have enough friends in this field. Looking at that beautiful number 11 machine, there's smoke up ahead.
Here in turn 3? Lap car track. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Jones. Let's rewind that. Take a look what happened here.
Yeah, it's back further than this. You can rewind pretty far here. Back it up into, I think whatever happened going into 3.
Does not want to help us once again. Let's see if we can back this happen with Kynan Joe. Kynan Joe. Jones already on the apron. Oh, Jones with help from Josh Robbins.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what you're doing there as 2 lap cars pushing that hard. That really, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, that definitely does not make much sense at all. Not a good move, especially so close to that lead pack. Jacob Adams goes back to the lead once again. Latham Joyner says, not so soon, buddy. My time to shine.
Yep, and like I said, the fuel window is open. This is about when I would pit. This is when I would come down, get full fuel, because it's gonna be less than a can. You know, you're only looking at about 4 gallons, 5 gallons, and you could pit here, fill it up, have enough for at least 1, probably 2 green white checkers. Yeah, but you gotta have friends to do it.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to watch here in this lead pack. Once the cars start falling back to get into a single file line, you know that pit stops are coming. But they remain 2x2 right now, so unless someone on this bottom line is going to pit, I don't know that we're too close whatsoever. Garrison Hogan looks to the top 3 wide.
Yep, Garrison not there all by himself, though.
Hogan, no friends on the outside here of Tyler Fode. Now 3 wide with Chad Thornquist, Zach Evans. He's probably just going to fall back here. Nobody has jumped up there. Gerald may when he gets there, but... it's like a move a bit too soon for Garrison Hogan.
Still side by side for the lead.
Just do what they can. Take the victory. Garrison's still on the outside. Finally gets back in line. Through the field, the next group that we have is actually 35 seconds back, so we should be coming up on them soon. This Ethan Stanley, Dustin Burr, Michael Goodman, Tate Lytle, Yari Brupacker. that's the next group on track, 35 seconds back. So actually looking at track position here, they should be coming up on them. If I'm this lead pack, I'm actually thinking about planning my pit stop before we get to those lap cars, because I don't really want to be maneuvering by some lap cars just before we go to pit.
Yeah, you don't want to be. I mean, you want to get the draft. I feel like if you were going to pit at the start of the window, you would have already pitted. I kind of think these guys are going to run pretty far into this and just try to take a number. I mean, they could run all the way to about 10 to go. 10, 12 to go.
Yeah, you can definitely tell by how the pack is right now that nobody's really thinking about hitting anytime soon. But we do basically have these two lines, one top, one bottom. Nathan Jordan, pretty solid for him, his Grand National Series 2. No matter how this one ends up, he's definitely put his name on the map here.
We do have some guys going to the bottom here down the backstretch. They got down into holes. I wonder if they're just trying to think about it, maybe trying to pit here soon.
Hogan back to the top, wide once
Yeah,
again.
he kind of got into the O2 a little bit pulling out there.
Harrison really just wants to get going to the front. Nobody wants to go with him, but again, I don't really blame them, because at this point we're preparing for the pit stops. I think Vincent Isabella and Chad Thornquist may join him here, but
I think
that's
he
gonna get
almost
tight.
wrecked the O2, and the O2 said, "You want it that bad? Stay in front of me." Like, whatever, dude. I'm not real sure what Garrison's trying to do here. I think a lot of guys are thinking it's still too early for 3 wide and the crazy moves that we've seen at the end of the first stage.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be making those moves too soon, because you could risk damaging a lot of cars here. And really, with so few cars left in this race, you can finish. You're going to get a decent finish out of this. You're going to get good points. So I would not risk my car with 30-something laps to go just to maybe gain a couple positions and then get back in line for a pit stop.
And our front 2 on the bottom are going to get cleared. Does RC pull back out and try to take the lead? He does.
He does. Anderson to the top with Jacob Adams. Joyner on the bottom with Chad Frankenfield and White Knadel.
Oh, the O2 gets turned sideways again.
It's definitely not going to be too pretty. He's been roughed up a little bit this evening, and but Chad's not one to take too much without giving a little back. So watch for Thornquist to maybe favor here.
I don't know how much of a favor return you can do at Daytona, but maybe moving forward if he feels like somebody really did something wrong.
I saw quite a bit of momentum there. I feel like they were a bit more connected. Everyone's kind of scrambling as they are coming up on that second pack that we just discussed with Lytle and Brewpacker. So this is going to be interesting to see, as we're hearing that some cars are thinking about pitting around lap number 90, coming up in about 2 laps. Watch out for that.
Yeah, we will see. We only have 17 cars in this lead draft right now.
Looking out the nose of Latham Joyner here, you can see that group of lap cars. So they're actually all over the place up there. If I'm in this pack, I might consider pitting this lap just to avoid getting into these guys, but it might be too soon. We're about to pass these guys on the outside.
Actually, there's 19. We got Tyler Fody, who lost a lap in some way, shape, or form, and Jesse Razimus.
Harrington to the bottom. Bye.
Yeah, this is a long line of lap cars, and these are the guys that are talking about pitting, is this long line of lappers.
Yeah, this is
going to be this is a pivotal point in the race right here.
up on a nice big long line. This might get sketchy here, Chris.
Oh, for sure. This is very, very, very pivotal. Hold your breath.
Oh, White Canado gets turned into Jerry Brewpacker.
Oh, Josh Adams gets turned into checkup too. Oh, Adams
Oh,
into the side. 42 into the side. We're going to stay green.
green once again. I'm not sure what's going on with these cautions tonight, Chris, but been about three that should
That
have
one
had
was all
Latham
off
Joyner gets
track.
moved
There
out of the
was
way.
there was nothing on track there to bring that one out.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. Had Frankenfield and Anderson might team up here to get past Latham. Well, Andrew Rucker got Crump behind them, but Latham Joyner, he's gonna get some help from.
Oh, the two good cars hit each other coming to pit road.
Is does look like they're able to continue, so that's definitely a good thing, but not how you want to be pitting.
Yeah, that stretch, that's just, that's why you pit. That's why you short pit. I don't know why nobody thought about short pitting. It made sense. You wouldn't have been in the pack for that. That just, I don't get it. Nobody, and then you get to a group of cars and you don't take care of each other. Doesn't make sense. You got to take care of each other to get to the end and be smart out here. And it just, I feel like tonight we have seen a lot of not smart moves.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the word methodical has just really not come into play here. These closing stages of the race, especially going around that group of lap cars, really useful without risking damaging the entire group. Wyatt Canadle had been one of the strongest pushers of the evening. He found himself way far back. Josh Adams as well. Heavy contact for those guys. And this group has really been broken up as well. They've lost quite a few of their padres.
Yeah, this is just what happens when you don't strategize, you don't think, like somebody should have been on the pit road already. Like these leaders, in my opinion, maybe should have already been pitted. At least some of them. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I'm not driving either. I'm the broadcaster, so what do I know? But I know this. I probably wouldn't have been out there still to get in that wreck.
That's exactly right, Chris. And well, like we mentioned, some of these moves have been quite questionable.
Yeah, we are down to. I mean, we really just have about 7 guys with the shot to win this race at this point. We work by some lappers again. It is those do-good lappers right there. We saw them. They already pitted. They probably would have liked to have not lost another lap there.
Frankenfield and Rucker now battling for the lead.
Yeah, and I mean, we are still in this spot where they all still need to pit.
If you're in this lead pack, Chris, as they go by Tate Lytle there, when are you considering pitting if you're still out here at this point?
I would have gotten my friends together and I would have pitted at 40 to go, but at this point I'd be pitting any lap. I know that I need about 5 gallons of fuel. I'd be trying to get together with some guys and I'd be getting pitted.
I thought looking at this here is I don't see too many teammates together up here. So are they going to go as a pack or is it just going to be hitting in and hopefully someone's coming with me?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't have any idea. I mean, Rucker and Frankenfield are teammates, right? Or no, not this year.
I'm not too sure. I don't believe.
I know Rucker and Frankenfield and RC have a history. They were teammates last season. So, that might still be good. Even if they're not teammates this season, they're still probably friendly enough to where it's like, hey, you 3 or you 2, if I'm one of them, I'm going to ask the other 2, you want to pit? You want to get out of this? You want to do something? You want to, work together? Yeah. I believe Crump is also in that crowd, too. I believe the 4 of them were all teammates last season.
Crump actually teammates with Chad Frankenfield. Actually looking at it, RC Enerson and Matthew Wheat are teammates over on the upside. So definitely some friends up here. Jacob Adams, pretty likable guy. the lap Josh Adams there.
And then there's Wyatt
Well,
getting lapped as well.
for these guys, Cadle and Adams, it's definitely just devastating being the why. You know, you had such a strong car, such a strong run going with one little incident.
Yeah, and if I'm them, I'm staying out now. Like those two lappers right there that they just passed, I gotta run long now. I gotta hope that they pit and then a caution comes out and I can be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely want to stay out as long as they can. Got the fuel to do it. They're just gonna stay out and hope for the best. But that Frankenfield, up in the distance there, looks like Yari Brubacher, next lap car that they're gonna go by, and hopefully Yari can get out of the way rather quickly. Actually, it's Cody Harrington.
Yeah, that's such a good looking car. That might be my favorite car.
It is a very beautiful car that Cody does a really nice job getting out of the way of the leaders there. Cody, one of the more respectful drivers. Done a really nice job here so far with what he's been dealt this season. Continuing to navigate lap traffic. Making quick work of that car on the high side.
I believe that's going to park Harrison. I believe that's going to put him 6 down. Yeah, he's going to park right here. Jari has been parked.
Yeah, Harrison Talon will join that long list of drivers this one. Really unfortunate. Quite a few of these guys, some strong runs early on, did by fortunate incidents, and quite a few of those did not bring it just where it was on the track. Yeah,
and I'm wondering, this guy's only got about 10 or 12 laps left in the tank, and it's going to be all fuel only. Unless you really fumble this decision and don't change it or change it, whatever. This is all going to be fuel only, about 3 seconds of fuel, 3 to 5 seconds of fuel, depending on how much you need, how much you've led.
On screen there, the 51 car, Harrison Talon, has pulled it behind the wall, as you mentioned, Chris, due to 6-lap rule. Unfortunate ending for Harrison, but he'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow night on the Elite Racing Network with me and Connor Sullivan for the Super Late Model race. But as we continue on, Chad Frankenfield, Scott Crump, and Latham Joyner leading that bottom lane. Top line not really getting anything going at this point, but those guys are strong. As you can see, these guys are starting to single out, though, Chris.
Yeah, it's time to start thinking about a pit stop. I mean, I would have already been thinking it done, made my pit stop, but...
My pit crew would be back in the truck, sent home by this point. We'd have taken our last bit of fuel and been good to go to the end, as they're going to come up on another lap car here, but I think we're probably a lap or two away from seeing the final pit stop in this one.
Yeah, we will see how far these guys decide to go. So they go by the lapper of Josh Robin. That puts him 4 laps down.
Josh Robin will get to continue on in this one. Able to make it to the end of this race. I don't think 2 laps too quick, but you never know. Depends on how this pit stop goes.
And it depends on if he's made a pit stop or not. If he has already made his last pit stop, I agree. If he still has to pit as well, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's definitely a big question mark. And Scott Crump there getting onto the back bumper of Chad Frankenfield. It looked like they were a little center, so that could have been bad, but Crump straightening it out, getting going again. Watch these guys continue to single file out. RC Anderson down to the bottom now.
I want to point out that the pack of cars that is 8th on back, they are racy.
Yeah, these guys are definitely getting a little racy here. Single file at the start of it, and then right behind them, it definitely continues to get a little racy. We have Johnny Thomas and Joe Campbell here. Jack Evans.
Adams has decided to park here. He's pulled off behind the wall.
Josh Adams, unfortunate for him. He's extended.
I think we're going to see pit stops right here. I think we're going to see pit stops this lap.
They've all single filed out here. I think you're right, Chris.
Oh, it's just Matthew. That's the guy we saw play strategy to get up here. He must not have gotten it full.
Come down to pit road. That is definitely unfortunate for him, but if these guys come down to pit road here shortly,
If they don't hit the next lap, that's going to take away any shot Matthew has at winning this race. They got to come the very next time, or else his shot to win in this race is over.
yeah, Matthew
Barring a yellow. He would need a
definitely
yellow.
definitely disappointed there. If that does take him out of this, but for that second pack, we continue to be pretty racy back here. So, or no, we may get one little step up that'll bring it all together. Guys, continue on. We will stay out once again.
Yeah, nobody came. So it's a tough deal for Matthew. That's probably his shot to win.
Coming back to the track here is going to definitely unfortunate. Matthew Weeks there.
Yeah, his best hope is to maybe be able to get part of the second pack after stop shakeout.
Point. It's actually getting pretty late in this one, which surprises me a little bit that you guys are still pushing. Not pitting yet.
Well, they could run to about 10 or 12 to go. I think Matthew, like I said, he played strategy to get up there, so he had to come, and they just chose. Everybody else was like, we can run. Like, we'll eliminate this guy. That's a guy we don't have to race later if we let him pit by himself.
Absolutely, and Matthew Weeks is always fairly strong in these ones. You know, he has won the Daytona 500 here racing. So he's one that you want to eliminate if you can, because he's there right at the end every time.
Yeah, and they're consistently beating Matthew by a ton of time.
Onboard action with Scott Crump here in P2. White light.
Yeah, they'll catch Matthew Weeks here in the next lap or two.
Yeah, Weeks not too far up ahead of these guys here. This is Goody's for Pro Edge Racing. He tried his best here this evening. Strategy might not be on his side, but there's still time for another yellow, which could change everything.
Man, that's kind of why when he called a caution, you should probably fill it up. I mean, he'll kick himself for not filling it up, but maybe that was his only play to stay in the draft. I mean, it's hard to say. Are they going to pit right here? There's some separation. They are not. Maybe
They are going to stay
maybe
out
Chad's
here.
getting full.
Yeah, quite interesting that these guys are still going. Like you said, they can get to about 10 or 12 laps, but obviously, I think at this point they're likely all going to be pitting together, unless it splits off into two groups. But what I'm seeing, it looks like they're all going to set up to pit together once they clear.
Yeah, and Matthew will be able to blend in with these guys.
He is very minimal damage, so should be able to stay right with them here. Jacob Adams on there. Help from
Rucker coming up there, putting a little squeeze on him.
as they go by Will Harrington here. That should about the end. Lap down. Go back.
Yeah, I think he's only 5 down. He's got one more trip here around the sun.
He may end up getting lucky as well by the pit stop because he'll be able to get one lap back from the guys.
Yeah, but I think he still has to pit too. I don't think it's gonna much matter because he's still got to pit.
You out here.
I think the second group is pitting right here. They
come
coming this time? Not this time.
stay out. Adams continues to work the high side with help from the lap car here, Tyler Fody. Cody was his drafting partner most of the evening tonight.
Here we go. Hey, they are saying word here. Chad Frankenfield is going to come to pit road this time.
Lights,
Scott
camera,
Crump is
action.
coming as well.
Yeah, you got to think most of these guys are probably going to come down here. Ossack and Isabella in the back have pit.
And Jake Adams pits from the top. If he gets this thing blowed down, it'd be incredible.
Yeah, you got to think a couple of these guys were going a little quick
black.
there.
The black for Jake Adams. He's going to have a penalty there. It's a black, and he misses his pit box. I feel like a bad decision there to try to pit from the top. He put himself in a bad spot. Yeah, and the second group coming to pit road wrecks a little bit. We got the 84 out in the grass.
Canadal out in the grass there. Garrison Hogan to the lead all alone, though. He has help from Goodman and Lytle, but interesting to see if that'll work for him. I don't know if it will, because those guys do have some damage there, but on that lead pack, Frankenfield is the leader of that group coming out now with Crump, Joyner, Anderson, Rucker, Thornquist, Gambler just a little bit further back, but it's going to be interesting with just about 10 to go here in just a moment. Hogan to pit road now.
Hogan, yep, coming to pit road.
Give the lead back to Chad.
Oh, Garrison's speeding as well, I think.
Yeah, Garrison definitely sped on pit road.
No, that is clean. That is clean.
That looked a little quick to me, Chris. But iRacing does control the flags here. Frankenfield back to the top.
Do we have a three-horse race for this win at this point? Bunch of mistakes on pit road by a bunch of guys is going to eliminate some guys.
Yeah, looking at it right now, Frankenfield is the leader. Trump in second. Joyner third. And then there's a bit of a gap back to R.C. Anderson. And then way back to Andrew Rucker. Matthew Wheat too far behind him in sixth. Hogan, Thornquist, Campbell, and Johnny Thomas is in the top 10 right now. But yeah, it's currently a three-horse race, but R.C. Anderson might get lucky here with Fody. In front of him. That 40 car has been pretty good to work with tonight, and I think it might help RC get back up here.
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, those pit stops really just eliminated guys. I mean, people did a poor job. Good drivers, too. Good drivers did a poor job of executing on pit road.
Yeah, definitely. With Jacob Adams with that penalty drops all the way back to fifth. It's definitely unfortunate for him as he was having a really strong run tonight, and he could have been one of those guys to steal the victory. Fortunately for Adams, he's all the way back in 15th and actually going to get lapped here momentarily. Leaders go by the lap car of Dustin Moore. And just like I mentioned, look at the top. Here's R.C. Anderson and Tyler Fody.
Yeah, and I'm very curious. Like, man, you don't want to wreck here if you're one of these front three.
Yeah, if you're in this top group, that's they're gonna actually be able to basically trap Chad on the bottom here as they go around Jesse Rasmus.
The bottom, and Crump throws a big block.
Wow, Tyler Fody is 16th
I'm not sure
right
I'd be
now.
I'm not sure I'd be blocking Fody. No reason.
I definitely would not be blocking Tyler Fody, especially considering he is a lap car. He's one of the strongest pushers in this field. I'd be working with him, see what we can do.
One interesting thing here is that, like you said, they're going to get to Jacob Adams, Vincent Isabella, Michael Hosack. We know Jake doesn't have any damage. He messed up in pit road, but he does not have any damage.
Yeah, Jake's car looks just fine up here. Looking pretty good. Hosack, very minimal, if any. And Vincent Isabella, just some rear end damage. So, guys, as you see, just ahead of the leaders. They're going to join this pack, and
we're going to have a race, because we're going to have a bunch of cars racing for the Lucky Dog. We're going to have a bunch of guys trying to race for the win. And oh, by the way, they're going to be catching other cars. Like, this is going to be very interesting, because these guys are not going to be way off pace.
No, as these guys are definitely going to be racing hard, as you see more lap cars up front there, just ahead of them, as you, Chris and Adams, Hosak, and are definitely going to peg onto the back of this little group here and see what they can do to get that Lucky Dog position from Fody.
Yeah, and it looks like Frankenfield's going to get stuck on the top with a push, though. Oh, Fody's going to go to the bottom. Frankenfield's going to get help from his teammate.
Frankenfield and Crump up here in the lead. Up top, as they go by a few more laps, Tate Lytle and Michael Goodman. Yeah, the battle's intensifying here as we come to 5 laps to go here at Daytona.
Cody Harrington, I think, is going to get parked right here.
Yeah, Cody has entered the pit lane. It will be the end of the night for that 60. But this is quite the mix here. We have the lap cars on the bottom, leaders on the top.
Good lappers.
Isabella almost gets into the back of Joyner there.
That's 2 good lappers leading that line.
As we mentioned, basically all 4 of these lap cars that are on the inside line do still have cars that are capable of running up here. Oh,
42 gets turned.
As Michael Hosak gets a little bit of help there from Isabella. If I'm one of these lead guys, I'm praying that we do not get a caution at.
Yeah, man, if we get a caution, these guys are going to restart in the first 12 rows. Like, Fody is currently running 12th on track.
Yeah, Tyler Fody, he's right up there still, technically on the lead lap right now, as is Jacob Adams, just by a hair. So if they get a caution, they're right back in this.
And they are coming 2-3 to go.
I'm just looking at the pushes from Frankenfield to Crump. It's getting interesting. Up on another lap car here.
3 to go for the leaders. Oh, we got contact. Scott Crump tried to pinch him. You can't. Wow.
Yeah,
that was definitely there.
Definitely not good there. Frankenfield and Enerson on the high side here. Seeing what they can do to get by.
Oh, Crump tries to block.
Blocks. Frankenfield to the top around Crump. Joyner peeking 3 wide here. Things are getting interesting here, Chris, as we come to 2 to go here in just a second. Chapman crashed in the back, but we'll continue on.
Just 2 laps left here at Daytona.
Hosak to the apron here. Front back up to the top. 4-car battle for the lead is this top line. Joyner to the bottom.
3 drops to the bottom. This is a move for him to try to win the race. He thinks the bottom is where he needs to be to make the pass.
I really have to question that because me personally, I don't know if that's the move.
50's going to get hot, I think. I think that's a good move to try to win the race. I personally like it. That 50's been all over that 15 for a while.
Yeah, you definitely have a good point there, Chris. Let's see, peaks goes out a little. Could be looking to cool that off as we're going to come to 1 lap to go here at Daytona. We're about to get Bill.
Yep, 1 lap left here at Daytona. And the lappers are going to try to help decide who wins this thing.
If I'm Latham Joyner, I'm thinking about hopping to the middle if I get a chance here. Because right now, he's trapped.
Jake Adams
goes to the
pulled out of line.
Oh, Crump gets turned.
Crump tries to get down.
Battle's on between RC
Frankenfield trying to throw a block. They're going to come up and wreck. Frankenfield is going to win the race, I believe. Here comes the 3. It is going to be Chad Frankenfield at the line.
Wow, Frankenfield, Joyner, and RC Anderson, the top 3 in this one. What a crazy last lap. Chad Frankenfield pulls the victory here tonight.
I mean, Scott Crump just tried to come down, and the 3 was there. You can't. I mean, that was twice in the last 4 laps we saw Scott Crump just trying to pinch him, like thinking that those lap cars are racing for 12th. They're racing for, they're racing for something too. You can't just turn down when it's 3 wide.
Taking a look back here, another peak. Latham Joyner goes in the middle. Fortunately, that gap just closes with Crump. Crump gets turned here, able to continue on. Latham Joyner up the track here, trying to get back up here. Anderson into the back of Frankenfield. Frankenfield back up into Anderson. Anderson into the wall. Frankenfield back down. Latham Joyner gonna make that pass 4 wide on Anderson here for second. Chad Frankenfield will take the victory. Latham Joyner second in. What a finish.
Yeah, and that contact between the 15 and the 50 over there, that was just Chad trying to block, and then they got out of shape and went up the track, and it ultimately hurt RC there. But that was not. That race had a lot of bad moments in it. That was. These guys are capable of putting on a better show than that, and some of the decision making we saw tonight. But we ended up getting to see a great finish there with, ultimately lappers trying to race for spots, the leaders trying to race for spots. And that's just what happens when you run a long green flag run here at Daytona or at Talladega. You lose guys make mistakes. We had 15 guys with a shot to win this thing, and then we got down to the pit stop, and 3 to 4 guys executed pit road without issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Rating top 3 here. Hoping that they'll join fairly. Them here in the Discord, Chris.
Yeah, I am not seeing any of them either. Oh, we got P3, no P2. Let's see if give RC a shot. You know what? We'll go ahead and we will talk to second place Latham Joyner. Hey Latham, this is Chris and Robert up in the booth. You put on a great race last night. Ultimately didn't get the finish that you wanted there with everything at the end, but tonight, all the craziness and everything that worked out, you ended up getting the finish. You ran at the front. Take us through the start of your season here, what you expect to do this season, and ultimately how you ended up being able to race for this win tonight.
Yeah, last night I think I just got unlucky with the situation, got swiped, and then I pushed the dude into the wall, or turned him, I guess. But it was a bit of net code. Yeah, tonight was crazy. I just signed up for this literally at like noon today, so I didn't have any painters or anything to get my contigs on the car, so I had to start at the back, and then those dudes at the back are lost as last year's Easter egg trying to get to the front. They don't want to push it all. And so once we had that first caution, I got up there, and then I just tried to be as aggressive as possible without killing somebody. And it worked out. Was 3 there on the last lap, and I'm lined up with the car in front of me. That dude just comes down, and then they got the wrecking up front. Needed that Talladega start finish line, and probably would have won. But yeah.
Robert, you got any questions here for Latham?
Yeah, Latham, obviously, you had a strong run last night, and I've seen you have really strong runs in that Super Late Model series. Um, how much experience do you really have in these full size NASCARs, the trucks, the Xfinity car, etc.? And how was your experience so far in Elite helped you tonight, knowing who to work with or who to pit with and whatnot?
Chad's obviously the owner of the league, so he's obviously always going to be good to work with. But like just avoiding the people I've had problems with in the Super Series. I've ran into it with Fody before. I think I like Ray a little bit. He got wrecked a little bit earlier. I would have worked with him if he could have stayed alive a little bit longer. Jeff Green, obviously, I think he died too, but he always qualifies up front in these. Really didn't get to work with him tonight, but last night I did. Yeah, I think I'm gonna miss the Super Series tomorrow actually because of work. But
We'll give
yeah,
your boss a call for you.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, Latham, before we let you go, are there any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give, and you're going to miss tomorrow? Are you talking the super late models tomorrow, or are you talking the Daytona 500 on Wednesday?
Well, I already missed the Daytona 500. The qualifying being only one lap really messed me up on trying to be fast with it or not. And then in the race, I was second out of the open people in the duel, and we wrecked in turn one, and it put me like fifth out of the open people. So I'm already missing that. But I think I'm gonna miss super late model race. I think I got to work like 10 to 9 tomorrow or something like that. So I'll miss that tomorrow night. But obviously, I want to thank Brinkley Hefner Racing, Elite Cuts, Excalibur Racing Engines, and I think that's it.
Well, all right, Latham, solid run, solid speed weeks for you. Looks like it might be the end of your speed weeks, but you nonetheless showed that you know what you're doing. You can run up at the front, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
And now we are joined by our Daytona winner here, the first race in the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series season, Chad Frankenfield. Chad, it's the first time that I've been part of one of your wins here, and I've been doing this for quite a while. Take us through your night, everything that led to you getting into position to have a shot at the win, and then obviously the last lap was a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you got to avoid the accidents. That's the most important thing. And really you just kind of got to know when to go and not to go. Especially towards the end of the run. I mean, there was definitely some tire fall off. So knowing when to push guys, knowing when not to push guys. Unfortunately, I almost turned my teammate there late, and I felt really bad about that. But he was able to keep it going. And yeah, we played the strategy perfect at the end of the race. I mean, there was nothing else to really do besides that. And one thing me and Crump do a really good job with on these flat tracks is work together, and we do a really good job getting in and off pit road. And a lot of times late in these races, that's what it comes down to. So as far as the last lap, it was definitely a funky couple laps because of lap traffic, and I don't blame them for racing hard because if the yellow comes out at any point there, those guys have a lucky dog. So, so RC was pushing me there. I knew he was going to go high. I went high, then I saw him go low. I went low, and I think our bumpers were just attached the whole time, so it kind of got me loose. Plus, I think the tire fall off didn't help, and unfortunately, I came up and hit him there. And I texted him right away. I said sorry, and he said he would have done the same thing. It's just one of those things you kind of have to do it there at the end. You got to throw a block, and if he would have gotten to my quarter, I wouldn't have blocked him because I think we could have just drag raced to the line. But yeah, I mean, it's always great to get a win, especially at Daytona.
Well, and you mentioned here before I let Robert get a question in, you mentioned the lap cars and racing for the Lucky Dog. Not only that, I mean, the race had been green so long, they were racing for, I think, 11th, 12th place, something like that. So they were still, that's a good finish to start the season. So that's what those guys were doing there. And Robert, you go ahead with the next question.
Yeah, obviously on the subject of those lap cars, obviously we saw quite a bit of lap traffic throughout the evening. How do you really navigate through those guys? Obviously, some have damage, some really had clean cars, but how do you make sure that you're going to be in that right line to make sure that you're not going to get damaged, not going to get taken out by a car that's way off pace? Really, like, what's your strategy going through all those lappers?
Early in the race, it's really about giving as much room to guys as possible. Unless you were the front 3-4 rows, you were stuck. You weren't going anywhere. And so it's often you gave a lot of room. Late in the race, though, I definitely noticed guys were pinching each other a little bit more, trying to get guys to lift so they can open the lanes up. Luckily there at the end between me, RC, Crump, and Latham, we all we didn't really agree. We didn't say anything, but we all kind of had an agreement, I think, on track that, okay, let's do the best we can to not kill each other racing through these lap cars, because all of us knew that we had a shot there at the end, at least getting a top 5. So, and I do want to thank the lap traffic. They were very respectful, very clean, and I thought they did a really good job of not determining the race there at the end. And like you guys said, I mean, they were running. I think Fody finished 12th. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, that just kind of shows that those guys were fighting at the end there, and every point matters in this championship. Especially going into the chase. So, yeah, obviously, I'm really happy with the finish, like I said, and I want to thank Kicking the Tires for coming on board. This is their first Mrs. Goody's Grand National, and I got with them, so that's awesome. I won one Xfinity race last year, the entire year, so it's so hard to win in Elite. So to get a win, it's always a big relief to get that off at the beginning of the season there.
Yeah, and so anybody else you want to shout out here before we let you go, Chad? And obviously the season's off to a great start, looking to maybe get where Josh Adams was there at the end of the last season.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I just want to thank you guys, everybody in Elite Racing Network, do a great job. And I keep getting text messages the last couple of days of how much the graphics look so much better and a lot of things look so much better. I mean, we're getting better and growing there. So make sure you guys tune in, though, Wednesday night, 7 or 8 Eastern, for the Home Place Beer Daytona 500. That's going to be an epic race. I think that's the one race of the year where everybody forgets about points. So I think we'll have another barn burner in that one. So again, I just want to thank everybody. Thank my White Lightning Racing teammates. Again, me and Scott really did a good job. Cody was helping us with fuel mileage, and just really thankful.
Alrighty, Chad, good luck the rest of the season. Come back and talk to us next week. And congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Well, we got a little bit of everything there in the first race. Seen a little bit of everything. What do you think moving forward here after we leave tonight? I want to give a quick shout out to all our sponsors, everybody at Mrs. Goody's Goodies, hooded towels and handmade items for babies, kids, you, and your home. And you can find out more information at miregoody@hotmail.com. And all our sponsors, everybody at TA Services, Blue Egg Marketing, Britzy Cam, do a lot for the league. These things don't happen without that. Everybody from Dave on down at Elite Racing Network, Chad for all he does, all the leagues he puts on, and I wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to talk about Alex, and hopefully he is back before the end of the season dealing with some issues. Again, thanks to everybody for all the money raised last week and whatnot for Alex and the issues he's going through. So Alex, if you're listening or if you see this later, hurry up and get back out here. We miss you out here at the Elite Racing Network, and can't wait until you're back out there in the Cup Series.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Chris. Obviously, we're all thinking about Alex, and can't wait to get him back out here. Just before we wrap up here this evening, let's take a quick look at the results here. Obviously, Chad Frankenfield took the victory tonight. Latham Joyner second, Percy Anderson third, Scott Crump fourth, Chad Thornquist fifth, Gerald Campbell sixth, Matthew Weeks bounced from that pitting mistake in 7, Andrew Rucker 8, Harrison Hogan 9, Zach Evans stays on the ground, doesn't go to space today, finishes.
Yeah, and we hope that you guys can all come back and see us next week as we move forward in the season and in the year and we get closer to crowning another champion. The Daytona winner was Chad Frankenfield. Tune in the rest of the week to see the super late models tomorrow and the Daytona 500 Wednesday night live on the Elite Racing Network. Thanks for coming back and seeing us this season, and we look